thieves are targeting Subaru and Nissan cars in a spree which has seen almost 50 vehicles stolen in 6 weeks. Nelson Bay's Prevention Manager Senior Sergeant Scott Richardson said 47 cars had been stolen in the Nelson region since June 1, well above comparative figures for the past 2 years. Of the cars taken, 11 were Subarus and 9 were Nissans. 5 Subarus are still missing. Thieves do really seem to be targeting Subarus at the moment. And we're having them dumped, or burnt out, all over the place, Richardson said. We have people out there at the moment who are quite adept at breaking into, and stealing, Subarus. Subarus are the most stolen vehicles in Northland, Auckland, counties Manukau, Bay of Plenty, Eastern, Central, Wellington and Tasman according to police statistics. Other car makes such as Toyotas and Hondas were among those stolen in Nelson. The large number of stolen vehicles has prompted police to issue a warning for owners to take extra preventative measures. Richardson said each brand of car had its own security systems and there were people in the area who were obviously capable of bypassing them, Richardson said. Sometimes there is an element of trendiness in it, that's the car they like. Some of the vehicles have been found burnt out, but initial investigations had not shown thieves were pawning parts. It's hard to say once they're burnt out, but at this stage they just burn them out, or dump them. Richardson particularly warned people who park their cars around Stepneyville on Britannia Heights and Queens Road. There had also been recent thefts in Annesbrook and Attahunny last week, he said. There's enough of a pattern where we want to get a message out. Nelson's tactical units are working to identify suspects. Richardson said police were continuing their investigations into the stolen vehicles but said the public could take some simple steps to help prevent thefts. If people realize that their vehicle is more at risk of being stolen because of its brand, we'd hope they would take prevention measures, he said, that might involve taking extra securities. Put a steering wheel lock on it, put it in a garage or block it in with another car they can't break into as easily. Put it beside your windows so you can hear if someone starts interfering with it. In February 3 Subarus were stolen and burnt out. 2 of the vehicles were broken into on Waistmead TCE, Marybank and later found burnt out on the Nelson Haven at the end of Marybank Drive and Attahunny. Dr. 1 was found in the water. The third Subaru was found pushed over a bank on Prince's Drive. The vehicle had earlier been taken from Beachville Crescent. In the same month the teams who left a trail of stolen and burnt-out cars across the Nelson region were caught. The pair spree involved at least 18 separate vehicles, with more than $85,000 worth of destruction and stolen goods. Levi Jensen McMaster, 20, was sentenced to 2 years and 7 months imprisonment for the car theft crime which spanned nearly 6 months. In April, Cody Reese Russell was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment on 32 charges over 9 separate dates between December 2015 and October last year. In the 11 months before McMaster and Russell were arrested in early December, police said about 329 vehicles had been stolen across the region, almost one a day. Subaru has carved a niche in the vast automotive industry by doing one thing: equip every single car it sells with an all-wheel drive system. That's minus the BRZ, of course, which features rear-wheel drive. How does Subaru's system actually work? Jason Fenske of Engineering Explained is here to tell us just that, and he breaks down how all 4 of Subaru's all-wheel drive systems function. That's right, not all AWD systems from Subaru are created equally. Cars with continuously variable transmissions receive a specific type of system, while those equipped with a manual transmission use a different setup. There are also 2 separate systems for the WRX and WRX STI pair. One is for CVT-equipped Subaru WRXs and the other is solely used for the WRX STI. The first system is the viscous center differential. It uses a straightforward 50/50 torque split with open front and rear differentials. This system is used only on Subaru models with a manual transmission, save for the WRX and WRX STI. The second is likely the one most consumers will be acquainted with, the active torque split system. It's found on all CVT-equipped Subaru cars minus the WRX and features a 60/40 torque split. The clutch pack found in the all-wheel drive system is designed to allow for some slip, but if traction begins to falter on a certain axle, the system locks the clutch pack, applies more pressure, and sends more torque to the wheels that need it. What makes the second system active is the fact the system communicates with other vehicle sensors to understand if a situation requires more torque at a certain wheel. Now, let's get to the sporty stuff. The CVT-equipped WRX uses a variable torque distribution system. This system is designed with a greater rear torque bias of 45/55, which in turn reduces understeer and allows more power to find its way to the rear wheels. A center differential, clutch pack, and a transmission control module all work in concert, sort of like the active torque split system, to send power to the wheel most in need. The holy grail of Subaru all-wheel drive systems is, hands down, the driver-controlled center differential system. It's exclusive to the WRX STI, and it uses a planetary style and mechanical limited slip differential and an electronic differential. The system features a 41/59 rear bias torque split, but the driver-controlled electronic differential can tell the system to lock up completely, or even provide more rear bias. For example, next time you feel traction slip, you now have an idea of what's going on behind the scenes to ensure every Subaru is a cut above in low traction scenarios. I know I'm getting older because the 2018 Subaru Crosstrek is finally starting to make sense to me. Listen, if you need a small, pragmatic, cheap car with all-weather capability, and don't require WRX or WRX STI speed, it's probably a great buy. But for those of us who like the idea of the Crosstrek and would miss all that turbo power, I ask, why can't we get both? Clearly Subaru is onto something here with the Crosstrek. They sell something like 8,000 of them a month in the US, and even though it's basically a lifted Impreza, it's just SUV-ish enough to ride that wave that's killing small cars and sedans. Then you have the WRX and STI, which are iconic at this point, and doing well enough that they too seem to be weathering the sudden-ocalypse fine enough. After all, the performance variants of small cars, think the Ford Fiesta Street, Volkswagen GTI and others, are all selling quite well, and in some cases actually dominate sales over their regular versions. Lately, when people can be bothered to buy small, they buy fast. Yet Subaru left us high and dry with a WRX or STI that goes all in on practicality. We haven't had a hatchback and or wagon variant of that car in years. If you want it, you're stuck with the sedan version, which is inherently less practical than it could be. So here's what I'm thinking, Subaru should pony up and give us a fast version of the Crosstrek. Stiffen up the suspension a bit, give it the 268 horsepower engine out of the WRX, or, hell, the 305 horsepower motor from the WRX STI. Why not add some better brakes and performance bits, leave the jacked up ride height? Why the hell not? It's not like we're ever going to get the Subaru Leopard wagon in this country. This could be the compromise we're all after. A lifted WRX or WRX STI wagon hatch with a manual would basically check all the boxes. Plus, that extra ride height might actually prove an advantage in rallying. As the small car segment is ceded to small crossovers, part of me wonders why so many off-road racing cars remain hatchbacks or sedans. Let me be clear, I'm not advocating this car replace the WRX and WRX STI sedan. I'd hate to live in a world where that's no longer an option for enthusiasts. No, I think this Crosstrek WRX would make a great addition to the Subaru lineup, existing as its own beast and offering a family adventure car for people whose idea of adventure also involves flouting speed laws. Given the proliferation of both small crossovers and small performance cars at the moment, it seems poised to do well, and finally fill the void left behind by the death of the WRX hatchback. What am I missing here? Make it happen, Subaru. You're welcome for the great idea. Please give me $10 million.